Hello, Matthews Gatos here. In this video, we're going to look at the volume of right pyramids and cones. So let's talk about volume. Volume is the amount of space on the inside of the object. So it is a 3D measurement. Instead of measuring with square units like we do with surface area, we're measuring with cubic units. So that means that all of our units will have a little exponent 3. To find the volume of any shape, we just do area of the base, whatever that is, multiplied by the vertical height of the object. Now, if you want to see why volume is area of the base multiplied by vertical height, I have a little demonstration that you guys can look at in our playlist. So for surface area, we used slant height, but for volume, we use vertical height. So let's look at an example between prisms and pyramids. Now, let's say I have a prism that has the same base dimensions. So that means that this base is the same as this base, and the height right here is the same as this height right here. If we were to compare these volumes, we would have to take 1, 2, and 3 pyramids added together would be the volume of one rectangular prism with the same dimensions. And again, I do have a video illustrating this with liquid, so you guys can check that out if you want to see a visual demonstration of that. So what that means is that the pyramid volume is 1/3 of the prism volume with the same dimensions, or vice versa. You can say the prism volume is 3 times the pyramid volume with the same dimensions. So to find the volume of a pyramid, we just simply find the volume of a rectangular prism and then divide it by 3. That's what 1/3 means. So 1/3 means to take your volume and divide it by 3. So if we have a prism, for example, that has base measurements of 7 by 3 and a height of 5, we know how to find the volume of a prism. We learned that last year. Area of the base, 7 times 3, multiplied by 5. So the volume of this prism is 105 centimeters cubed. Well, using that relationship that I just showed you, we would just take that volume of the prism, divide it by 3, and then we would get the volume of a pyramid. So the volume of that pyramid, 105 divided by 3, which is 35 cubic centimeters. So let's try an example together. So I want to calculate the volume, again, V volume for vertical height. So vertical height is on the inside. Looks like I have that, so we're good to go. So I'm going to write down that volume is area of the base multiplied by the height. Now, because it comes to a point and it's a pyramid, I just take that and divide it by 3. So area of the base, 6.4 multiplied by 5.3, multiplied by height of the object is 7.1, and then I just divide that by 3. So I can put this whole thing into my calculator. So 6.4 times 5.3 times 7.1, divide by 3, and I'll round this to the nearest tenth. I get 80.277, etc. So I circle the tenth, look to the right. That 7 tells me to round this up to a 3. So to the nearest tenth, my volume would be 80.3, don't forget your units, cubic inches. Now, there's a similar relationship that prisms and pyramids have between cylinders and cone. Here's the reason why. They both have circular bases. So let's say we have a cone and a cylinder that have the same circular base. They both have a height, so let's say that height is also the same. You will find that that relationship between pyramids and prisms is the same for cones and cylinders. And again, check out my video showing you that it does in fact take 1, 2, 3 cones to fill up one cylinder with the same dimensions. So I'm going to use a very similar process, because I know now that the cone is 1/3 the volume of a cylinder with the same dimensions, or a cylinder volume is 3 times that of a cone. So remember, 1/3 just means to divide by 3. So I can find the volume of the cylinder and then just divide by 3. So for example, we call the volume of a cylinder area of the base times the height. So area of the base circle, pi r squared, there's the area of my base, multiplied by the height of the object, which is 14. When I do that, I get 395.8 centimeters cubed. So compare that to a cone that has the same circle base. I'm just going to take that volume and divide it by 3. So take that volume, divide it by 3, and I get a volume of 131.9 cubic centimeters. So let's try another example. So in this one here, I want to calculate the volume of the base. The volume is area of the base, multiplied by the height. So area of the base is pi r squared. Now in the last example, we had the diameter. We had to find the radius. In this example, we're given the radius. So pi times r squared multiplied by, I don't have the height. So vertical height for volume. So we need to use Pythagorean theorem to find our height. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I always use horizontal for A, vertical for B, hypotenuse always is C. So let's figure out what the height of this cone is. So 10 squared is 100, 15 squared is 225. So I want to get h squared by itself, so I will subtract 100 from both sides. And then I get h squared equals 125. And to find the height, I just take the square root of 125. So square root of 125 on my calculator, and I get 11.18. So I'll just put it up here, 11.18. Now I'm keeping that number on my calculator, even though I'm only writing down a couple digits. So I'm going to multiply that number that's already on my calculator by 10 squared, multiply it by pi using my pi key, and I get a volume of 3,512.407. I'm leaving that on my calculator, but because it's a cone, remember I need to divide that by 3. So I take that, divide it by 3, and my final answer, 1,170.8 cubic feet for the volume of that cone. So volume of a cone, volume of a pyramid, take that volume and always divide it by 3 when it comes to a point. So now I'm going to show you the volume of my favorite cylinder, a pizza. So let's say we have a pizza that has a radius of Z and a height of A. Let's calculate the volume of this pizza. So we know the volume of a cylinder or any object is area of the base times the height. So area of the base is a circle. So I am going to do pi r squared. Now r squared just means multiplying r by itself and multiply it by the height. So the volume of this cylinder is actually pizza. Pretty good. So I hope this video helped, and I look forward to seeing you for the next one.